It's time to get into One Piece time skip edition. The last video, first of all, thank all y'all for checking that out and leaving comments and likes. That was very. I needed to see that. That was really nice. I wasn't expecting to get that much great reception and feedback, but thank y'all for checking it out. Now, this one I'm gonna be covering 2 arcs and 2 surprises at the end. So I don't even want to waste no more time because we got a lot to get into. Let's get into it. The return to the island that gave the Straw Hats their worst moment as a group, splitting them up and promising they'll meet again. Well, they do, and they get their Timeskip Designs. And I want to go over them real quick. I just like to go over how they look. Luffy pretty much is the same, but a little bit older. You can tell he looks a little older in the face. Zoro looks badass as usual. Very Japanese with the kimono. I like the green scheme with him in general. Nami basically is I guess they went with a less is more approach. I mean, she's just wearing a bra and jeans with longer hair. I'd be lying if I said she wasn't a distraction at the time. Sanji got, not gonna lie, Sanji might have the best glow up because Sanji got a black suit with a yellow button up on, and he got the beard going. W design, way better than his first one. Robin looks good as always, although not gonna lie, I don't know why they took away her tan. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe that's an anime thing. But Chopper is practically the same because he's just a reindeer. They just gave him like a new hat. Frankie looks weird. Definitely a downgrade in my opinion. Compared to his pre-time skip, which I actually liked, I always thought he had one of the cooler designs, especially amongst the Straw Hats at least. He just looks too disproportionate and just off-putting. I don't like what they did with that. Brook just went colorful, very pop star-ish, full Soul King vibes, although I don't know what's up with those pants. W design for Brook. Usopp definitely had the best glow up out of everyone. He got a little more swole, a new hat, grew a goatee. He doesn't look like a complete joke anymore, which is great. I think this is definitely a big upgrade from what he used to look like. This arc was a solid reintroduction and an update on the Straw Hats, how strong they've gotten, the new designs, how they linked up. But the highlight of this arc is the Straw Hats going against the fake Straw Hats and the Pacifista army. Well, mainly just the Pacifista army stuff. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji completely destroying the Pacifistas. Love seeing that and what they're capable of doing. Zoro and Sanji even teaming up on one of those Kumas. Each of them taking down their own Pacifista, and they look great. Luffy looked badass in the fight sequence, showing off some of his training from Rayleigh, dodging Kuma's beam attacks effortlessly with just head movements, and then proceeding to one-shot a Kuma. This shit was great. After seeing one Kuma overwhelm the Straw Hats in last Sabayori arc, and now seeing how strong they've gotten to where they could take out one of them on their own, or maybe 2 of them can take out one, that's great to see. This arc was very short, but I think I'll give it like a solid 7 out of 10. I actually enjoy seeing them in their new looks and the whole time skip vibe. Oh boy, so it's time to talk about Fishman Island. I'm gonna say it right now, this is the worst arc in One Piece for me right now. I've never had to force my way through an arc so bad in history that I can possibly remember. But let's go ahead and just get the negatives out the way. Holy Jones is a trash ass antagonist and villain. He felt like a downgraded version of Arlong. The whole Neptune thing was kind of meh to me. It was nice fleshing out the society and the world of the Fishman and all the islands and stuff more than anything. I think that was my favorite part, but I did not care about Neptune's daughter either. I don't know, it never really just caught my attention, the whole storyline. I just could not get invested for some reason. Now, the main theme with Fishman Island, of course, is racism. I think the theme of that was done pretty well. Obviously, racism is one of the hardest topics to truly cover, especially in an entertainment form like anime. I think one of the best moments to depict the hatred some fishermen have for humans was the blood transfusion in Fisher Tiger's backstory. It was either take the blood of a human or die, and he accepted death because having human blood in his body will go against his philosophy of humans and fishmen. The entire backstory that revolved around Fisher Tiger, I actually like that probably the most out of this arc because of how deep Oda goes with the racism and the hatred and everything, and just keeps it in the confines of his story while also making it very relatable to the real world. Oh, and also I can't forget Vanderdecken, also another trash villain. Just, you can't have a trash villain in an arc because it just takes it down. Even if you have like a subpar main character, if your villain is good, it brings it up a notch. The Straw Hats in this arc mainly kind of played like the background role until it was time to fight and get into the climax. Luffy versus Hody was okay, nothing really to write home about personally, but at least Hody was more tolerable in action than a regular antagonist trying to push the story, really. Luffy knocking out thousands of fishmen with the Conqueror's Haki, that was epic. I really like that. It reminded me of when Shanks used his hockey and knocked out some of Whitebeard's crew. I mean, to be honest, the fact that you can legit knock someone out with basically your aura is pretty cool. I think I would love to see more of that, not gonna lie. Zoro beating on Holy while underwater was something I didn't expect. That's low-key disrespectful though. How do you beat a Fishman while underwater and he's holding his breath and the other guy can literally breathe down there? That's kind of pathetic. All the Straw Hats got their usual fight of the arc. My favorite was probably Brook's fight versus Zio, mainly because of Brook's Soul Ice move, and those two just look pretty cool facing off against each other aesthetically. Sanji though, out of all of the Straw Hats, pissed me off the most in this arc. The nosebleed stuff was OD. I get it, he loves women, but this just came across weird and just over the top. The man had a nosebleed so bad from the mermaid that he suffered blood loss, and it became one of the problems to solve in the actual arc. This version of Sanji I didn't like. I hate this version. I'm praying that he does not get worse. If he gets worse from here, we're gonna have a discussion about his character, because Jesus Christ. Also, we learned a little bit about Joy Boy. I guess he's like a respected guy or a man. He tried to help out Poseidon, kind of made him sound like a legend or like a fallen hero or something. Not really sure what that's about, but probably gonna get into it maybe like later into the later arcs. And last but not least, Jinbei. Jinbei is a character I really like. He's the representation of a fisherman who's seen the humans and the Marines do these vile things to the fishermen, but will fight for humans too if they need help and if they are genuine good people. Like, they're not doing things for their own right, but you know, they genuinely want to help you and the fishermen. He helped out the Straw Hats during the war, and by the end he joined the Straw Hats. Great moment for the crew. Luffy and Jinbei's mini battle was some good stuff too. I like that. Jinbei is a great addition. Jinbei is a great addition overall. I love the fact he's going to be traveling with us now. Now, the Straw Hats have a little bit of everything when it comes to the type of crew members they have. So yeah, Fishman Island, overall, that was not a good arc. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10, but at least I'm through it, because it cannot get worse than this.
Yeah, it's trash.
But to end this video on a good note, I watched 2 movies after Fishman, because I looked up when I could watch these One Piece movies for once, and I watched Strong World and Film Z. Film Z, I wanted to watch the most because I heard so much about this film and how great it is as a non-canon movie. So let's go ahead and see how I feel about them. Strong World is a really fun movie. Shiki is a pretty good villain, to be honest. I think he could fit in the current story or world of One Piece. Don't ask me how to like add him in there, but I think he's cool. I really wish he was in there. His devil fruit ability gives him the power to levitate himself and objects that he touches. It's pretty simple, but flight expands your options in battle and in life. Now, Shiki is a wanted legendary pirate of the Rocks Pirates because he fought Gold D. Roger back in the day, and Garp and Sengoku are trying to capture this man. So clearly he's pretty strong, and the Marines have been trying to capture him and failed a couple times. But when they caught him and locked him up and impaled down in the handcuffs, and they locked his legs so he can't fly, in which he proceeds to cut off his legs so he can fly out of the prison, then get swords to act as his legs. Fire. I gained so much respect for this dude just because of that. And pretty much destroying his body so he can complete his goal of releasing the mutant animal army into East Blue and trying to force the world government's submission. Basically, world domination through power. I like the contrast between Roger and Shiki. Roger was a pirate king, but he didn't want the control over the world or world domination. He just wanted the ultimate freedom, like Luffy. While Shiki wanted the opposite. Really good antagonist for a movie that includes canon material at points. Nami was the main focus Straw Hat wise because she was captured and used by Shiki for navigation. She played more of a damsel in distress than anything. By the way, the outfits and the way Nami was drawn and animated in this movie, they clearly did not hold back in this movie for her. And the way this was animated looked great. Movie style One Piece is a really good look for this series. One of my favorite scenes is the Straw Hats pulling up on Shiki in black, looking like they're ready for business to take down Shiki. And also Shiki's crew was kind of mid. Came off a bit annoying at times, mainly the blue guy, wasn't too big on him. But Luffy versus Shiki, great climactic fight to end the movie. Seeing this fight also felt special because it felt like Roger's successor in a way. Luffy is fighting Shiki, someone from his era, and he won. And he won using this crazy Gear 3 style Thor axe move. It's tough. It's a tough move and a great way to end the villain like Shiki. I enjoyed the fact that this fight went kind of all over the place and Oda took advantage of the environment with the snow and Shiki's levitation. Great fight. W movie, really good watch. I'm giving this movie a solid 7.5, maybe an 8 out of 10. Film Z is one of my favorite anime movies I've ever watched. Now granted, that doesn't say a lot because I've probably seen on hand maybe like 10, if anything. But this movie is a perfect movie for One Piece because it could be thrown in anywhere for the current story and it would fit like a glove. Cypher as an antagonist is like a fan fiction style villain that actually got its own non-canon spinoff. A Marine that felt like justice wasn't being served correctly in his eyes, and he went on to take out pirates and other Marines on his own with his own crew, kind of like a vigilante. But the moment you really understand and sympathize with Cypher is when the government went to take the man who killed his crew and gave him the warlord status. If I'm Cypher, I would have had the same emotions. The organization I put my heart, body, and soul into rewards the killer of my crew after I want to get justice on him. I would have felt the same. I would have left the Marines too. And he stole the Dynastones from the Marines, which are dangerous secret weapons. They treated them like they were like nuclear weapons or something. The origin story for Cypher already made this movie great in my opinion. The connection shown between the admirals and Sengoku and Garp was something you rarely, if ever, see from the Marines. They came across very somber and it felt personal for these guys because Cypher helped train the upcoming Kizaru, the Aokiji, the Akainu. Cypher was friends with Garp and Sengoku and could have potentially had a position similar to them in the higher up seats. And the Straw Hats were solid in this movie. They fought the two main members of Cypher's crew that took them down with their unique abilities. Nami and Robin regressed in age until the third half of the movie. And let's just say Sanji and Kid Nami was not something I really wanted to see. Aokiji popped up in this movie while Zoro, Luffy, and Sanji were recovering in a hot bath. And his presence is just strong as hell. And once again demonstrating how strong he is, yet proves he's not with the Marines anymore and how laid back he is even more now that he doesn't even a position of power. The fights at the final climax of the movie were peak One Piece animation. Sanji versus Benz looked cool and the Sakuga for Sanji's kicks are pretty dope. Zoro versus Ain is a top 5 animated One Piece scene, at least that I've seen so far. The camera following Zoro and Ain as Zoro is chasing after her with some Sakuga added in there looked amazing. That looked dope. Even though it's a short fight, it's memorable from that sequence alone. Luffy versus Z, another great Luffy versus main antagonist fight. I mean, what else can I say? It's damn good. And Cypher's power was ridiculous with the black arm he had. That joint was actually stupid powerful. Film Z is an 8.5 out of 10. Great movie to watch when you're trying to catch up to the time skip and you want to watch something on the side. Film Z and Strong World are examples of non-canon movies you can do that can still keep canon material but add a fan fiction or a concept that's not really tackled in the manga or the anime and put it in a movie format. We need more movies like this for other series. So that's what I'm gonna cover in this portion of the first time skip One Piece wrap up. So we did Fishman Island, we did Return to Sabayoti, and I had to do those two movies because after Fishman Island, I needed to watch something good, something positive from One Piece. So I checked out those movies and thank God that I did. Next up is Punk Hazard and potentially maybe, I think Dressrosa is after that. Depends on how I'll do it, if I'll split them up or not. Now I am gonna let you know, one of those arcs I'm gonna start reading the manga for, and I'm gonna use I'm gonna have to use onepiece because I looked at the episode count for one of those arcs and Jesus, can't wait to get into more of this and eventually catch up to the current One Piece. That's gonna be a tall task, but leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll let you guys in the next one. Peace. ようこそ逆さまの世界へ。